having that belief and it not being a reasoning belief.
Yes, before I was saved, I could have done that. But after I've been regenerated by the Holy Ghost, which is have my soul been born again, that means I'm a new creature. This is what the Bible teaches. And again, that's within the Christian worldview. So therefore, having that understanding and having the guidance of the Holy Ghost, I can know things for certain. Whereas where your worldviews, you all cannot. You haven't. I mean, I've been looking for a justification for knowledge from anyone. I haven't heard one yet.
Well, here's my take on that. It just seems that your justification for your work, for your presupposition, is based on an induction, and so you're sort of refuting yourself there because you spelled out so very well how there's a problem with induction, and I agree. I'm not even saying I disagree with you, and I also want to also add along to it that if Christianity is what you're convinced of, honestly, genuinely, then that's what you ought to follow. And you ought to do that 100%. But what we're really discussing is how our justifications fall short of that. And not to talk for anybody else. I know me and Sophia, we base our justification on phenomenal consciousness. We exist, and that's all we really know. We exist, we're having an experience, and we know logic works because we can't exist and not exist at the same time. So those are at least two things we know. Ultimately, in the ultimate sense, we know those two things. Everything else after that is, gods, demons, science, all of those other things are just inferences. And we do run into the problem of induction. And that's why I keep it very conservative when it comes to philosophical beliefs and claims and things like that. I try to keep it just as parsimonious as possible and try to not make as many assumptions or presuppositions as possible, kind of like Lou mentioned. But that's all I have to say about that. That's the justification right there. And I know it's not satisfying.
You want justification for knowledge on our worldview or on my worldview?
Yeah, I mean, Scott just summarized his. I mean, which wasn't a justification at all. It just said we are because we are. I mean, he even just said, well, we know that we're here. Well, no, you don't. You don't know that you're not in some sort of dream state. You don't know that you have some sort of aloof, mystical consciousness of a cloud floating around where neurons just bump into each other, and suddenly you're thinking things, and you'll be no longer be in existence 10 seconds ago. You don't know any of that.
He's just misunderstanding. That's all. You're just conflating. You're conflating thoughts with experience. But go ahead, Sophia. Oh, Sophia fell out. Damn it. She's got a bad connection.
Here you would be.
I think she might have lost connection. It sounded like her mic was.
Yep. She needs to get a new provider for her phone.
Yeah, for sure.
So, all right. So if you want to define knowledge as justified true belief, and I think you do. So that
I would agree. I would agree with that. Scott, that was by Scott's definition, and I would agree with it. Mm-hmm.
So that doesn't require God. It just requires reliable methods for forming beliefs. So we have our perceptions, we have our memory, we have our reasoning logic, we have our evidence and testing.
But none of those justify themselves.
They don't need to.
Saying I don't need to is essentially saying I haven't got an answer, so I'm not going to participate. Well, if that's your worldview, then that just shows that the atheist worldview can't hold rationality to this subject.
Of course it can.
Well, then you're going to have to do better than I don't. No. I don't have to be accountable for anything that I say.
I am accountable. A made-up God does not justify anything.
I'm sorry,
and you told me you had evidence for your beliefs, for your worldview. Okay, what is the evidence for God? And don't use logic, use evidence, because logic is not evidence.
The evidence is that he's revealed himself to mankind. I said this earlier to Scott. He's revealed himself to mankind many times.
That's a claim.
Yes, that he has given us his word and shown us the evidence in his word.
Claim.
Yes. But that I don't use it outside of a worldview in which it makes sense and would be taken as
evidence
true.
Does not sit within the worldview.
In your worldview, you would then have to tell me, because you have a worldview that can account for knowledge. So when you say, well, that's a claim, you don't even know it's a claim because you haven't yet justified knowledge in your worldview.
No, I did just account for knowledge. You did not accept it. That's the difference.
No, you said knowledge is here because we have knowledge.
No,
that's just a hopelessly circular argument.
No, I said we had reliable methods to justify our knowledge.
Yes, and memory and all the other things that you mentioned. Memory and all the other things that you mentioned are all based on knowledge. All you're doing is you're just obfuscating that basic principle.
Oh, really? How did you gain knowledge of God?
Well, he revealed it to me
How did you justify that revelation?
because I presupposed it and he provided evidence.
No, you don't justify things by presupposing. If you can do presuppose, I can presuppose. So
Well,
therefore,
yes, you can presuppose things. Absolutely.
caught
There
yourself
are
in a
many things in
bind.
this world
No,
that
no,
are
no. You just caught yourself in a bind.
no.
That destroys your entire argument. If you can presuppose
Okay.
God, then I can presuppose reality.
Nope.
Okay, hold on. Presuppositions. There are many things that are There are many things that are presupposed as well as evidence in this world. Okay. But the problem is that when you're presupposing the things that you want to presuppose, like I'm going to presuppose knowledge. Knowledge doesn't justify itself.
I did not presuppose knowledge.
All right. What are you presupposing then?
I'm presupposing reality. That's all I have to
Okay.
presuppose.
Reality doesn't justify itself because that's the induction problem.
And God doesn't justify himself.
Yes, he does.
Oh, no. That's special pleading.
No, because it doesn't. Now, it may not, you don't like it because it doesn't help you. It's not part of your worldview.
And
But it
you don't
certainly
like
is a
just
justification.
reality because it doesn't help you and doesn't help your worldview. See, everything you say.
Well,
turns
reality, what do you mean reality doesn't help my worldview? Of course it does.
No,
Because everything in reality points back to the Christian God of the Bible.
just reality doesn't help you. We'll say that.
Just reality doesn't help anyone
Sure, it does.
because you're in hopelessly circular reasoning. You haven't offered a justification for your reality yet.
Sure, I have.
What was your justification for reality?
Oh, wait a minute. No, that was my presupposition, which you said was okay.
No, I didn't say it was okay to
You're
just presuppose
experiencing
reality.
it.
I never said that.
Reality is self-evident. I can't deny reality. Even if I was a brain in a vat, I can't deny it.
It is 'cause it
is.
How could you deny it?
It is because it is.
And
That's
you
the atheist worldview.
You only believe. I don't consider myself having an atheist worldview. I have a worldview.
Oh,
that
I'm
doesn't
sorry. I
have
thought you
God.
said earlier that you were an atheist in your life.
I am an atheist,
Okay.
but I don't claim my worldview is an atheist worldview.
Mm-hmm.
It's
I mean,
part
this
of my
is
worldview.
the
If you
this
want
is
to
the- I
if you
think-
want to try to separate those and that, I'm not going to
Well,
get into that.
Well, right, because this is the problem we're having. You know, we're all kind of appealing, at least everyone on the non-Christian side, we're appealing to philosophy, right? And one of the core tenets of existential philosophy is that experience justifies existence. Existence precedes essence. That's one of the things that, you know, that might be mentioned. It captures the idea. It means that a person's first exists as an undefined being, and only through their lived experiences, choices, actions, induction, do they create their own meaning and define their personal essence. So the belief in God is something that's part of that second step. It's part of that inference. That's what it is. Your existence did not require any beliefs about anything at all, even of yourself. All it really required was the experience of existing. That's kind of a core tenet of philosophy.
Faith is the foundation for reason. Without that, you're not going to be able. Reason's not going to justify itself.
Right. Through a certain lens, I can understand what you're saying, and I can even agree to you. I'll go ahead and grant that there's a certain amount of faith, depending on how you define faith, that you can justify your beliefs, you know, your reasoning ability. You know, I have faith that logic works, but actually in this case, you don't even need faith for logic because it's part of your
But faith in what?
experiential. But it's part. Well, what I'm saying is it's part of your experiential reality, and so in that case, you don't have to have faith in anything like that. The only thing you need faith in is in your induction, in things that you hope for, things that you trust in. You know, it kind of goes back to the Greek definition, the pistis. You know, you have trust in. You know, it's like I can. You know, I trust that my teacher is going to teach me math correctly. I have to put faith in him at some point. I have to trust him, right? And so in that case, yeah, but that's all part of induction. That's part of that side of it. But the core is consciousness. The core primary thing is that you have an experience. You can deny anything else. You can question what it is you're experiencing, but you can't question that you're having an experience. That's the only point I'm making.
You can't question that you're having an experience.
The question that-
You're not allowed to question experience itself.
I don't know if
That's
allowed-
what you're that's what you're
No,
telling me.
no,
I mean,
no,
that's
that's not
pure
what he-
insanity. To
Why
say
is that insanity?
that's
I don't know.
insanity
No, what
because
he's
you're just saying I
he's
experience
saying-
things because I experience them. I am because I am. These are hopelessly circular statements, and surely you guys have to see this. That's why you haven't been able to justify any of these points.
It's a core foundation, a core tenet
He's
of philosophy.
trying to say
At the core
trying